And hello, and welcome back to Fate. Hello, Ataraxia. Last time, Tosaka returned. So let's go get our ass kicked. Yeah, she does not look happy. No, well, maybe she's a little happy.
おい、トサカ。ちょっと聞きたいことがあるんだが。
Yeah, this is either gonna go horribly or perfectly. Probably horribly.
鍵なら開いてるわよ。
Oh, I mean, that sounded exactly like that. Though there's some kind of response, I can't really make out what it is.
すまん、よく聞こえない。
なあ、もう。なに、鍵なら開いてるわよ。
As I raise my voice, an annoyed response comes from inside the room. I see this is gonna go perfectly then. For some reason, Tosaka seems to be in a bad mood. Is it really safe to open the door? But if I slid away after calling out to her, I don't want to think about what happened to me afterwards.
うわ、なんだこれ。いつの間にこんなに散らかしたんだ。
This isn't bad. Wait, am I revealing how much of a mess I have in my... This is really messy, definitely. Without exaggeration, Tosaka's room is so messy that there isn't anywhere to stand. Okay, maybe that's not an excellent artist's depiction of it. Considering the number of days she's been back, this is truly astonishing. I do have places to stand. Few and far between, but I do have places to stand in my room.
なに、そんなことを言いに来たの?
I mean, if you want me to, I could start. I don't think I would be the best person for that. Tosaka, good job. Do whatever you want. Under Tosaka's glare, I can tell that she's really in a foul mood.
いや、そういうわけじゃない。
じゃあ何の用かしら。見ての通り、片付けてとっても忙しいんだけど。
You're really fast at getting this messy. Was it this messy when you left?
片付け?
何が言いたいのかしら、エミヤくん。
Oops, I just blurted out what was on my mind. Right before me stands a red devil, smiling sweetly, wearing the mask of Tosaka Rin, the honor student.
いや、なんでもない。用事の方も本当にちょっとしたことだったんだ。
そう、じゃあ後にしてもらえる？
ああ、邪魔して悪かった。
I back away, making sure not to lose eye contact, and then close the door. Imagine that.
しかしまあ。
The ability to make that much of a mess while trying to tidy up, and still manage it in the end, is really a talent. Was that the entirety of it? I feel like maybe that was like one of those that I had to like achieve something else. Oh, am I able to go walk around with her? No, alone. Oh, okay. Well, I've already sort of committed to this, I guess. Naturally, there's no one at the harbor at night. I sure know one guy who'd be enthusiastic enough to try night fishing, but he seems to have retreated to his thing.
ああ、けど教会には帰ってなさそうだよな、ランサー。どっかの廃屋でキャンプしてると。
We already sort of discussed this. For a moment, I thought we knew he was over there already. Okay, whatever. I suppose that was the last set of them, but still. For a moment, an image comes to mind of a place that'd be much to his liking. Both well-stocked and deserted, just perfect for trespassers and squatters. So maybe the reason I can come over here by myself now is because Tosaka's back, which means Archer's like, can't fight him. Or stuff like that.
いや、いくらランサーでもそこまでは。
There's no telling what kind of traps might be in there. Maybe it has something to do with milk. Who knows, maybe he's freeloading off the Fujimura group.
けど、なんだって教会に近づかないんだ、あいつ。
Yeah, that is a good question. I figured that Lancer... Well, he was around there for an earlier event, wasn't he? And Goldie? You talking about Gyogi? We also met him there. I had figured that he was off doing whatever he felt like, and the reason he was sleeping... Oh, wait, Archer's not doing his thing anymore, so he could come back. Then again, Tosaka just got back, so it's not like they may know that he's not necessarily doing his thing anymore. Right now, there should be no one in the church. Does this mean the owner of that abandoned place has returned from the dead? The church. I guess is the church abandoned? I don't know, it's just weird phrasing, because I thought the church still had someone around to, like, take care of things and whatever. October sea breeze is really cold. I'll go investigate somewhere else before I catch a chill. The stuff with him feels like the most perplexing part of it to me. Because it seems like, and maybe it's just me, but it feels like they're hinting that he could still be around, and it feels like that's not new either. Like, there's been bits and pieces that have suggested that as well. As I was passing through the living room to start the usual lunch preparations, I noticed Saber engrossed in reading, quite unusual for her. Having not noticed my presence just yet, she's leaning forward, her cat-like eyes wide open, staring intently at something on top of the table. While I am sure interested in the contents of that magazine now, I wouldn't want to interrupt. I'll just go straight to the kitchen.
Shiro, ちょうど良いところに.
Uh-oh. As I turn around, Saber finally peels her eyes off the page. The thing she presents in front of her chest is a large magazine with a colorful banner headline. That's a bit of a surprise. I imagine Saber would be interested in more serious magazines. Do you not know her? I feel like the idea that she's actually sort of like reveling in the kid stuff that she was never really able to do is like a big part of her personality.
Shiro, このフォアグラというのはどのような味がするのですか?
That might be not so much kid stuff.
Foie gras?
Foie gras? However you pronounce it, I don't know.
ええ、そうです。
Foie gras?
あと他にもキャビア、トリュフ、フカヒレ、ツバメの巣、松茸、金目鯛、伊勢エビ、金華ハム、北京ダック、ホロホロ鳥、フグ、すっぽん、和三盆、夕張メロン、松坂牛。
Finally, I wanted to say something. Every time I hear Matsutake, I think of Takeru from Muff Love. That is I don't even really know what it is. I don't remember what it is, but it reminds me of Muff Love every time.
待て、セイバー。一体何の話だ?
Saber's eyes were so serious. I unconsciously got scared and interrupted her.
なんで急にそんなものが気になる?
これです。
And so, Saber turns the cover of the book she's holding towards me. High-class food. High-class foods you have to try once. Okay. Unique, interesting foods that are specially made for this thing. So it's like, well, maybe you won't be able to eat them every day. Maybe I don't have enough money to do that, but, you know, try them once.
なんだこの本?
I don't recall buying this book. Come to think of it, there's no reason for me to have it either. Sakura's a collection of recipe books that I'll never be able to match, but this is more like a guidebook.
先ほどタイガが置いていきました。
Fantastic. Now I understand. I can see the underlying motive. She probably thought that by leaving it here in the living room, Sakura or I would look it over and say, okay, let's have matsutake mushrooms for dinner tonight. And judging by the shine in Saber's eyes, Fujini's plan is already about 50% successful.
で、セイバーはそれが気になったと。
Let's just make sure we have it on a day that Taiga's not around, yeah?
ええ、皆が一度は食べてみたいと思うような食材です。 さぞかし美味であることでしょう。
Well, if we make them ourselves, then maybe? Because I'm sure working with new ingredients takes a little bit of, like, practice. Cooking's like... I don't cook that much, but understanding the ingredients a big part of cooking, I know. Saber visualizes the high-class ingredients she's yet to try. But with the normal person's access to high-quality goods, I doubt I can rise to the culinary standards of a high-ranking person.
セイバーだって王様としてお城に住んでたんだろ？そういう高級な
Crap! It wasn't like that. What a gaffe. Certainly Saber lived a courtly life, however. At that time, there were no pompous royal feasts or formal table manners for the matter. To begin with, the French brought high-class food with them. Wait, what century are we talking about again?
シロ、前にも言ったはずです。私の時代の食事といえば皿もなく、ただ焼いただけの肉を机に投げ出し、それをナイフで削り取って。
Wait, you mean shave what off?
すまん、セイバー。俺が悪かった。
Like the fur?
お詫びに何か食べたいものって言いたいところではあるんだけど。
Wait, are you not talking about food anymore, maybe? Are you talking about shaving other things like... Oh, I don't want to get into that topic. Indeed, with our household finances, saying, alright, how about we go eat there? With that menu is an impossible dream.
強いて言えば、セイバー一人くらいならなんとか。
一人ですか？
Yeah, pricey things are pricey.
まあ、それが限界だな。
So how they established it before was that Emiya goes to school and he basically gets an allowance outside of his inheritance, which is managed by Taiga's father, right? That's how it's supposed to work?
あとは遠坂あたりが宝石なんかに手を出さず、ポーンとこっちに投資してくれれば、みんなでシントの高級店に繰り出したりできるかもしれないけど。
I think everybody in this story is sort of poor.
リンが相手では、そのような業行にあやかれる場面は起こり得ないでしょう。
I don't know how much money Rin really has, but I know it feels like she's investing it constantly in either magical stuff or other stuff. I agree completely. She is distinctively cheap, stingy, and a born miser. I don't want to hear her complaining. Besides, I simply can't imagine Tasaka being that lavish. Maybe she's not poor, but I thought... I vaguely remember stuff that made me feel as though she was financially strained. It's been a while since I thought about it, though.
だな。そういうわけで、いつかはそんなリッチでセレブなところにも連れてってやりたいけど、それまでは俺の作る飯で我慢してくれ。
何を言うのです、シロ。私はこの家での食事にはとても満足している。我慢や辛抱などと一度も考えたことはありません。
She says such a wonderful thing with a straight face. If you say it like that, my fighting spirit will be boosted, even for just the lunch preparations.
ですから、いつかきっとシロの手で直々に収穫され、見事に調理された高級食材がこの食卓を飾るのだと信じています。
Oh, now I have to do it. Come on, Saber.
え？
信じておりますから。
Wait, what do you believe in? Saber throws out a reckless word of belief. She flips through the magazine in her hand and finally opens the page she was after.
そう、ガチョウです。フォアといえばガー。まずはガチョウを飼うところから始められてはいかがですか？
That might take a while. Also, I wonder if Emiya would have a problem with actually killing the animal.
ガーって、いや待てセイバ
ー。ガチョウに手こずるのであれば、豚という手もあります。豚は飼うには最良の家畜です。
Oh yeah, pigs can eat like anything, right?
しかも、ご存知ですか、シロ。この本によると、地中のトリュフを発見できるのはメス豚に限られるのだそうです。
Oh, okay. I do remember that pigs at the very least were used for getting truffles.
無論、 ハムという選択肢もありますから、品種にはこだわらねばなりませんね。
If this game ends with some semblance of Saber having like a little baby pig that she's carrying around, like getting close to it, naming it and stuff like that, all with the end intention of killing it and eating it. That, oh my goodness, I can just picture it in my head now.
ちょっとその本よこせ。バカトラに突っ返してくる。
In one smooth motion, she stands up and quickly evades my hand. Nimbly walking through the corridor, she puts on the slippers and goes out to the yard.
おいセイバー、上見ながら歩くと危ないって。
ようやく気づいたのです。白、はるかキャメロットにありて、このエミヤの屋敷には欠けていたものを。それは菜園と家畜小屋です。幸い庭にはこんなにも空間が。
Are we really doing this?
あ、もしやキリツグはそれを見越してこのような敷地を確保したのでは。
I do not think he did.
ない。誓って親父にそんなややこしい解消はない。まあ100歩譲って家庭菜園くらいは手を染めてみてもいいけどさ、セイバー。だけどメス豚もガチョウもスッポンも飼わないぞ。動物はメストラ1匹で十分だ。
I want to get a turtle.
トラですか。トラの肉は古来馬肉の桜に対して竹と呼ばれ珍重されたとのこと。一体どんな味なのでしょうか。バター。
Oh, and before anyone says it, because I feel like someone might say it, the thing about the pig before and her like raising is, and if someone says or points out the idea, she lived in that time where they had to kill their food and whatnot, and she had livestock at her castle and whatnot. She probably has dealt with that before. I'm gonna go with probably not, because she was king. She probably never actually dealt with that sort of that side of it, right? This entranced saber, standing in the middle of the yard, seems to have a convenient filter in her ears for my voice.
おーい、帰ってこい。王様、陛下。
たとえ庭が無理でもまだ希望を捨てるには至りません。なんといっても風紀市は自然の宝庫です。
は？
山の幸、森の幸、海の幸に恵まれた神に祝福されし肥沃な土地なのですから。
その前によだれ不幸、セイバー。
With the demonic book clutched tightly to her chest, Saber looks up to the clear autumn sky and sees the faraway food kingdom. I feel like we might be in trouble. Just... Shinji, what are you doing in my room? What are you doing in my room?
あれ、なんだ、誰もいないのか。
I'm gonna regret this, aren't I? On the bulletin board is a note from Sakura saying, I'm going home for a while. On the fridge is a note from Ryder and Saber saying, we're going shopping in Shinto. With whose money? Seems like everyone else is out, and I'm the only one left in the house. Well, that's fun.
まあいいか。バイトも入ってないし、おとなしく留守番でも。
I hear the doorbell ring from the entranceway. I walk up to the door, wondering who it could possibly be. I find a very unusual guest indeed. Hey, Shinji. Are you gonna make me more annoyed at you?
Oh.
For a few moments, we just... we grunt at each other in silence. I'm so confused with that my greeting is delayed, and he doesn't seem intent on greeting me in the first place. If this were martial arts, he'd say we were waiting to see who would attack first, but he's probably not here to fight. Probably.
いや、珍しいな。さくらの様子を見に来たのか？
別に。ちょっとこの辺りに用があってね。帰りがてら寄ってやっただけだよ。
Fantastic. Nice seeing you. On your way out? Fantastic. Great talking to you. We should do it again sometime.
そっか。時間があるなら上がってくか。
Damn it, Emiya!
お前のことだから歩きだろ。マトウの家まで距離あるし、お茶ぐらい飲んでけよ。
お茶？まあ、そういうのもたまにはいいか。暇じゃないんだけどね。 少しぐらい付き合ってやるよ。
What is my cheapest tea?
そうしろそうしろ。
What is my cheapest tea?
さくらは留守してるけど、しばらくすれば顔を出すだろうし、それまで今で待ってようぜ。
さくらは関係ないって言っただろ。それより今ってどこだよ。お前の家変な作りの上に無駄に広いって本当だな。
あれ、もしかしてうちに上がるの初めてだっけ？
Is it ridiculously wide? I sort of figured that the structure was more related to the Japanese style versus his house being like a Western style, yeah?
さあね、今まで来たことがないし初めてなんじゃないの？僕エミヤの家に興味なかったし。
Yet I suppose you would know where it is. Didn't he come to the house like at least once, even if like aggressively? Like you'd know where it is because Sakura's over here and he probably has some obligation to know. But I remember him like coming in and doing shit. There's so many random like I feel like I remember him doing something aggressive and like forcibly making Sakura come with him or something like that, like in the entryway at the very least.
だよな。昔はマトウの家ばっかりたまり場にしてたからな。悪いと思ってうちに誘うとなんでか嫌がったし。
当然だろ。なんだってわざわざこんな大口で集まんなきゃならないんだよ。学校からだったらうちの方が近いじゃないか。
Middle of nowhere? Aren't we still in the city suburbs like pretty blatantly? Well, so, for various reasons, Shinji has never been to the Emiya residence before. He came to pick Sakura up once, but he never went past the entrance.
はい、こっちが今。さっきの廊下を右に曲がると道場に、左に曲がると離れの方に出る。さくらの下宿部屋は離れの方だ。
随分と離れてるんだな。
藤姉が許可するぐらいだからな。どうだ、兄貴としちゃ少しは安心できたか？
しつこいねエミヤ。さくらのことはどうでもいいって何回言わせるんだよ。
As he's saying that, Shinji keeps glancing towards the outbuilding. Seems he really was worried about how Sakura was doing and came to check on her. Maybe.
おい、紅茶と緑茶どっちがいい？
I call out to him from the kitchen.
何？紅茶飲むようになったのかエミヤ。
驚くことかよ。ま、住人の大半が紅茶糖だからやむなくなんだけどな。で、どっちがいいんだよ。
どっちも趣味じゃないね。それよりさ、エミヤの部屋ってどこだよ。先にそっちに行こうぜ。
For some reason, when he said I don't have much of a taste for either, I was thinking he's gonna follow that with something like, what I'd rather have is you, and the most horrible plot twist ever happens. Shinji sounds lively for some reason. Jeez, well, there's nothing particularly interesting about my room, though.
すぐそこだけど、シンジの部屋ほど面白くはないぞ。
そういうのは僕が判断することだろ。ほら、早く案内しろよ。せっかく来たんだ。一度ぐらいは友人の部屋ってのを観察させろよな。
You have a friend?
いいけどさ、後で文句言うなよ、シンジ。
ここ？
Something about his fucking face just makes me feel like he's always up to something. I don't actually even know if he's here on the pretenses that he said. So I'm sort of just on edge waiting for him to have some ulterior, probably stupid motive.
へえ、屋敷の一番奥なんていい部屋じゃんか。
まあな、間取りで言えば一番いい部屋だ。
Oh, says Shinji, his face shining with anticipation. He is going to be so disappointed. He's smiling from ear to ear. A smile that quickly reverses itself the moment I slide open the door.
何これ？なんもないじゃん。
Yep.
何もないってことはないだろう。机と座布団、あと隅に小さいけど本棚がある。
I put particular emphasis on the bookcase. Don't you see it has 2 shelves and a top? You can put things on the top. Did you know that? I think you might not have known that. I don't think you've ever needed to do it before because you have a twice as large bookcase or something like that. I got to the store. I got to store the paperback novels I've been borrowing from Ryder lately. I got it to store them. It's brand new and I'm proud of it. You added furniture? I figured that's just been there. That is fantastic.
さっきの今のがマシ。たくさ、予想通りにつまんないやつだね、エミヤは。
Fantastic. I don't know, I just find it really funny that Emiya is proud of his new bookcase. I can just see him now, just like, having that like little content smile as he gazes upon it. Good job, Emiya. Good job. Having cursed me out, though still surveying the room all the same, he turns back towards the living room.
で、どっちにするんだっけ、シンジ？
コーヒー、砂糖2杯にミルク入れる。
ミルクって言っても、普通の牛乳しかないぞ。
I guess in Japan there's other types of milk that are normal?
いいじゃん、牛乳。クリーポより上等だよ。あ、お菓子はいらないからな。変に気を使うなよ。
それは助かる。我が家のお茶菓子事情は割と厳しいんだ。
I put on coffee for 2 and return to the living room. Shinji is taking a seat, looking displeased.
紅茶も出ればコーヒーも出るのか。変わったよね、エミヤ。ここんとこ趣味広がったじゃん。
紅茶もコーヒーも昔から飲むぞ。単に日本茶びいきだっただけだ。もともとどっちも好きだったんだよ、俺は。
へえ、流動に合わせてたんじゃなかったんだ。
Then do you like alcohol too? I've still only tasted it. What happened to the voices? I work at the liquor store, so they give me some once in a while, but Fujimura-sensei comes over here every day. I'm sure you can figure out the rest on your own. That's right. You can't have booze if Fujimura's here. Okay, I'm gonna reload and see if something happened. So there's just straight up not any... Huh. Okay. Weird. He sips his coffee in disappointment. Seems Shinji thought I'd be a bit more entertaining if I drank.
それよりさ。
Okay. Oh, is that like some... Oh, is that it? Is that like some censorship thing? Like, it technically... Like, they didn't voice it, technically. Oh, I think I remember that from the original Fate Stay Night, where... Because it was, like, the Vita version that had the voices or something like that, right? So, when they got ported to the older version on the PC and whatnot, like, obviously on the Vita, they're not gonna, like, leave the sex scenes in. So, they just put, like, the all-ages version, right? Which typically is an all-ages version. Alcohol stuff included. Rather than just getting rid of the age scenes, yeah. I think the ideal solution for that sort of stuff is just get rid of the age scenes. Or make them a fade to black or something else of that nature, typically, and then leave everything else untouched. If you want it, make 3 versions. It's not that hard. One where you just get rid of one with everything, one where you get rid of the age scenes, and one where it's an all ages version or whatever. If you're gonna do it, you might as well have that in between. Leaving that aside.
お前最近弓道部に出てないんだって？さくらが残念がってたぞ。
Oh, right, he was in that. I forget.
出るわけないだろ。三つ釣りと一緒にするなよな。
I guess, have you officially retired? Are you third? I don't even remember.
僕たちもう3年の秋だぜ。いつまでも部活なんてやってられるかよ。
And he answers it for me.
なんでさ、さくらのフォローとかしてやればいいのに。別にさくらが部長になったことに文句はないんだろ？
少しは責任持つのもいいんじゃないの？さくらのおもりは三つ釣りだけで十分だよ。それに弓道部に出ろってのは僕だけの話じゃない。僕よりお前の方が喜ばれるんじゃないのか？秋大会も近いしさ。
んなことないだろう。 顔を出すぐらいならいいけど、今さら部活で弓は持てない。3年間やり通した部員の横でたまに来るやつが弓を持つのは失礼じゃんか。
相変わらず緩いなお前。上手いやつはそんなの気にしなくていいんだよ。
I mean, I guess it depends. Are they more interested in winning, or are they more interested in trying to win as a group?
エミヤは弓ぐらいしか取り柄がないんだから、下手な連中のやっかみなんて気にするなよな。
そりゃどうも。けどそういうならお前こそどうなんだよ。お世辞抜きでうまいだろシンジは。今からでも遅くはない。大会に向けて絞り込めばきっといい結果を残せるぞ。
お断りだね。弓道に執着はないよ。あんなのはもう卒業だ。僕にとっちゃ暇つぶしだったんだよ。暇つぶし。
もったいない。せっかく天性があるのに。
それが何よりの間違いだね。別にね、僕は一芸に秀でる必要なんかないんだ。そういうのは足りないやつの仕事じゃんか。
See, if I never try to be an expert at anything, then that means I will never have any way to feel down on myself when I'm not the best at them. That way I can feel like I'm just better than that person at so many other things when he loses whatever competition he's having with a certain person, right? Is that it? I feel like that's such a Shinji motivation.
見苦しいよね。凡人ほど自分だけの特色なんてものを鍛えたがる。本当に足りてる人間っていうのはさ、とりわけ何をする必要もないわけさ。
ほほう。その弦でいくと遠坂あたりはどんな扱いになるんだ？ほら、あいつは何でもできるけど同じぐらい何でも鍛えたがるだろ。
あれは天性の貧乏症だよ。つける薬がない。
That's actually interesting. Okay.
何もしなけりゃ左打ちはなのにさ。好きで苦労してるんだから。
I would say she might. she sort of seems like she might.
的を射ているような。鋭いなシンジ。
当然だろ。遠坂を見てた時間は僕のが長いんだ。分析はこっちに分がある。
Have you ever interacted with the not like the real Tosaka rather than like her school persona? Shinji drains his coffee with a gulp. After that, somehow philosophical statement.
おい、おかわりだよ。おいしいじゃんか。ここのコーヒ
ー。Come on, he says arrogantly, holding out the coffee cup. Yeah. Our rambling conversation continues. We're both on our third cup of coffee. Wow, we must have been here for a while. Especially with Shinji, you know. Not having much time to hang out. And he gives me a report on how it's going. His senior co-workers are useless, and the system they use is old-fashioned, and so on and so forth. If I didn't know the situation, it would sound like nothing more than a one-sided complaint. But luckily, I've heard rumors about the restaurant where he works before. According to Neko-san, to make up for the presence of their unmannerly new hire, Kitamura Tea House has improved its flavor and lowered its prices, or so she says. To make up for the presence of their unmannerly new hire? Is that supposed to be Shinji?
けど驚いたな。シンジがバイトするなんて。
I mean, if you have to change your entire business strategy because you hired some part-timer or something like that, it feels like you should just fire them. According to Saga, the Matos are quite rich. Old man Zokin may not look it, but he's got quite a lot of money on hand for a retiree.
ちょっとした気晴らしだよ。まあ、卒業後に自分の金が必要だしね。貯金だけじゃ心もとないんで、今のうちに稼いでおこうと思って。
え、卒業後ってシンジ家を出るのか？
別に。いざ出るときに金がないんじゃバカみたいだろ。でもまあ、8割は上京する方に傾いてるかな。
Huh. Interesting. The surprises keep on coming. Shinji leaving home. That's a different meaning than when an average person goes to live alone. The Mato family are a lineage of magi. Even if they lost their magical aptitude, it's unthinkable for Shinji to up and leave home knowing that history. Why? He's not the successor, right? If he left, that would be...
Shinji, それはマトウと縁を切るってことか?
Wait, so you're not even allowed to leave when you're not the successor? That seems dumb.
じいさんに言わせればそうなるだろうね。僕の父親には弟がいてね。そいつは家を出てどこぞに引っ越したらしいんだけど、それっきり感動扱いだし。冬騎士を離れるってことはそういうことさ。
Oh, fuck that. That's dumb.
そうか。さくらには？
言ってあるよ。身の振り方を考えろってね。僕が家を出たらマトウはそれまでなんだ。後を継ぐ者がいないんだから、あいつも家を出るしかないだろ。
What?
シンジ。
Are you just playing? Whatever.
なんだよ。当然の話だろ。
Whatever. I don't know what we know and what I know even. Maybe I'm remembering things incorrectly.
ああ、言っとくけど、マトウ家の財産は僕んだからな。
Not if you're disinherited.
じいさんがくたばったら受け取りに帰ってくるから。さくらには無駄遣いするなって言っとけよな。
So you're just gonna come back and take it from Sakura because she'll not be disinherited? Well, he's just trying to act tough or showing consideration to Sakura. Even I can't tell. Despite having known him for 5 fucking years. It was the longest 5 years of my life. But in the same tone as always, he mentions the best option for Sakura.
しかしなんだね。まさかエミヤと2度も卒業の話をするとはね。知り合った頃は、ここまで長続きするとは思ってなかったけど。
Second time?
そうだな。考えてみると、俺たちあんまり趣味合わなかったし、遊びに行くより、こうして無駄話をする時のが多かった。
I guess they must have discussed it before.
エミヤと遊びに行ってもつまんなかったからね。他に予定がない時だけエミヤに付き合ってやってたわけ。
よく言ったもんだ。シンジの喧嘩に加勢したの10や20じゃ聞かないだろ。放課後お前との待ち合わせ場所に行ったら上級生にあやつけられたのなんてザラだったじゃんか。
ありゃ僕だけじゃない。目をつけられてたのはエミヤのせいじゃないか。僕はどこでも目立つからしょうがないとしてもさ、ガキの頃はエミヤみたいな出しゃばりは敵を作りやすかったんだよ。
Well, now that he mentions it, maybe so. Looking back, it was 5 years ago. It's right around this time of year that Mato Shinji and I met. Are we gonna get a flashback? Interesting. After school on the day before the cultural festival, a single first-year student was surrounded by third years. He was being picked on for making a sign that didn't match their design. I knew that the first year had worked for days making the sign on its own and that the third years hadn't done anything. So, I couldn't help but butt in and give them a piece of my mind.
うぜえなあ。それならさ、明日までにお前一人で作り直せよ。
That'd be like first year of like middle school or whatever the equivalent is, right? If I did, then then they'd forgive the first year for its mistake, they said. Tit for tat, as they said. Those who go looking for a fight are sure to find it sooner or later. I let the ridiculous provocation get to me and got so carried away that I ended up staying awake all night to make a new sign. Oh boy, one of my classmates saw the whole thing. He watched me as he made fun of me for staying behind work, but in the end, he never left. Harshly, he said.
お前バカだろ。あんなの黙ってればいいのにさ。
And?
いいように使われてるって分かってる？頭の足りない3年もさっきまで礼を言ってた1年もさ、とっくに帰って忘れてるっていうのにさ。
You kept bothering me like that the entire time. And finally, in the early hours of the morning, when he saw the sign I had finished according to the third year's design, he spoke.
お前バカだけど、いい仕事するじゃん。
and he gave me a friendly smile. Just as proud as if he made the sign himself. Having already recruited me to his cause, he now took credit for my work. At least in his mind. That was the beginning of my relationship with Mato Shinji, and we will end at calling it a relationship. From then on, though I hate to admit it, we became somehow inseparable. Our relationship continued and we remained friends after entering high school. But after I joined the archery club, we gradually grew apart. The thorn at the root of our estrangement was pulled out half a year ago. By then, we could no longer be the way we were 5 years ago. But we've been burying the hatchet, enough that we at least talk like this. The clock strikes 3. Shinji finishes his third cup of coffee and stands up.
もうこんな時間か。待ち合わせがあるんで帰る。
Now you actually have plans.
あと、今日寄ったのはついでだからな。変な勘違いするなよな。
はいよ。けどいいのか？もう少ししたらさくらもやってくるのに。
You know, the thing about Shinji is that normally for characters like him that are like... I guess it's more... have that tsundere sort of quality to them. It's fun to like tease them and whatnot, but he's not fun to tease. I feel like he just replies something that just grates at the ear. I don't know, I just have a hard time imagining. Like, I'm sure... So I'm the sort of person that would, I can get along with most anyone fairly well. At least just talking to them and whatnot. Partly because I tend to have a very lighthearted approach to any, like, given interaction with a person. That sort of thing, but, yeah. But, I don't know. I feel like I'd get bored.
いいんだよ。騒がしいのは好きじゃない。ここの連中が集まってるのなんて、想像しただけで気持ち悪い。
Okay. Imagining a bunch of attractive women swarming on Emiya's abode. Oh, so creepy.
そうそう。パソコンとまでは言わないけどさ、テレビの一つぐらいは部屋に置いておくんだね。魔術師だからって時代遅れも甚だしいぜ。
Shinji leaves me with one of his usual insults. But, though I'm grateful for his advice, I'm pretty sure I have a computer or two in the storehouse. That's not the same thing, Emiya! You can't... I wonder if I should have told Shinji about our relatively high-tech household to correct his misunderstanding. I don't know, oh my god. I feel like Emiya's definitely, like, deluding himself. Oh my goodness. Whatever. Just go out for walking more. Let's just get through these, basically. Okay. Oh, yeah, out here. The sky's close. The tallest building in the city. Tonight, the rooftop is once again strikingly lit by the strong moonlight. I don't really have a reason for coming here. I'm not looking over the city. Instead, my eyes are always directed upward. Ooh, the moon is close. The eclipse shade of the moon somehow looks like a cup. Right, they mentioned that. I forgot, they mentioned that it was cup shape, and I remember noticing that in editing, even though I think I sort of, didn't register it properly when I was reading through it. Yeah, I'm guessing that's supposed to be the Holy Grail of whatever's happening here. I mean, a big black something does seem accurate to how it was depicted before, right? Suddenly I get the foolish notion that maybe I could reach it from here. I need a rocket to go up to the moon. Either that or a nauseatingly long ladder. Without that, I wouldn't be able to get there.
戻ろう。一人で来てもしょうがない。
Should I find a ladder? I leave behind the silver thread. This is where the sky, the empty sky, is. Even with this tall tower, I cannot reach to the beginning. A I feel like we might end up getting a ladder. Legitimately. At some point, okay, we're gonna take on the Holy Grail and do all that stuff and whatnot. Or like the Holy Grail that's causing this current predicament or something like that. And we just get a giant ladder and it's like, how do we get up to it? We just get a giant ladder and lean it up against the building. Okay. Let's go. I loiter in the storehouse, surrounded by all the items I've picked up. It's nice and cool, and the scent of oil and rusted metal fills the air. It calms me down.
そうだ、ビデオ。あれもそろそろ課題としては。
Suddenly, as I'm rummaging around, whose fucking voice was that? Oh, I can't even go back until... I heard a loud scream in the distance. The scream came from the other building. Oh, okay, so it wasn't like I moved something and there was just some person there and they screamed, because that was my first impression. It doesn't sound like Sakura. Then is it Fujine, Saber, Rider, or maybe... Well, it's probably okay. It didn't sound like Sakura. It didn't sound like Saber. I don't think I've ever heard Rider scream, so that would be weird, but maybe. Fujine, maybe?
さて、やっぱりどう見ても無理な感じがするな。
Oh yeah, he's just legitimately rushed out of. Okay. It might have sounded like Tosaka? Taking off the cover, I brush off the dust. Maybe Mitsuzuri? Honestly. But, okay. I feel like that's Tosaka. If I'm wrong, then I would be surprised. I can't think of anyone else who has a voice that... Again, Mitsuzuri, I guess, is the only other one, but I wouldn't expect her to be here. That voice sort of reminds me of. Even with the service manual, this is far beyond my abilities. Furthermore, with appliances getting more and more modularized, it's getting very difficult for amateurs to even get inside them.
とりあえず、よくローダーが壊れてそのままぽいって言うけどな。
Spreading out my tools, I line them up on the sheet next to me. It looks like I'm in for a long haul. Alright then, let's take another look inside and... Okay, that is like wind... Saber! Was that Saber? I feel a storm brewing. It feels like the pressure's dropping, clouds are forming, and the wind's picking up. Rapid footsteps stomp firmly on the ground. They're heading straight to the storehouse. Hi. My eyes tell me it's Tosaka, but in reality, it's a living typhoon of magical energy. Oh, are you not Saber's sword? I thought you might have got in trouble. I thought you might have been arguing with Saber, and she was taking out her sword.
Yo, Tosaka.
Hey, buddy. I raise my hand to read her. I feel greatly endangered, as if seeing my parents' mortal enemy. What the heck happened? At this rate, next she'll find a gander, and that would be the start of the Emiya resident storehouse murder case.
トイレあるじゃないの。
Yes. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. We've been in a bathroom before. I was like, of course I have a bathroom. It's like, wait, have we been in before? Yes. Because I remember, like, Sakura, or maybe you, or some girl fainted, and it was weird. Because the scene got weird at that point.
どっちだ？母屋の方か？
離れの方よ。
Needless to say, the house is huge. The outer building and the main building both have a restroom.
水が出てきた。
What are you covering? Where did the water go?
漏水か？まずいな。
There would be lots of damage if I leave plumbing problems unfixed. Let's go repair it. I have some gaskets here, so...
違う。
故障じゃないのか？
The way Tosaka's talking in monosyllables is disquieting. It's like looking at a dam on the brink of collapse. Well, the water's still up there. Maybe.
だからあれ何なのよシロ。
What is what?
あれもしかして。
Come to think of it, the western style bathroom in the outer building is the one that I took some effort renovating. While Tasaka was gone, there may have been several new state-of-the-art home electric appliances introduced to our household. Okay. Oh, was it like a bidet or whatever those things are called?
もしかしてウォシュレットのことか。
I've never experienced one myself. Aren't they more common in Japan? I actually thought that was like a relatively common thing in Japan. Because like in America, like you know they exist, but it's like this weird thing that I like never actually have heard of anyone actually having. Ah! Yes, the dam finally broke. I'm just standing here dumbfounded as a muddy stream of water surges towards me. Oh.
そういうものを入れたのなら真っ先に私に説明しなさい。芳香剤の類じゃないんだから。
So we're saying the water went up where she was, you know, fidgeting around, and now a muddy stream of water is headed in my direction. Was that on purpose? Either by the translators or the original? Oh my goodness.
悪い忘れてた。それに俺あっち使わないから。
ならばなおさらに。もう心臓止まりそうにびっくりしたわよ。
This is a fantastic little episode, isn't it? That's where the scream came from, I guess.
そうだよな。俺も最初に使ってみた時はなんか歯医者さんを想像したし、いや行ったことないけど歯を食いしばったというか。
Because I guess the bidet, it's actually meant for cleaning there, right? That's the idea, right? It like pressure water, like uses pressurized water to, you know, get it off.
しかしだな、父坂。あれはあれで慣れてみると、なるほど、文明の利器というものは素晴らしいと。
But you don't use that bathroom, Shiro. Do you have a bidet in the main bathroom over there too? Amazing. I'm surprised, Sakura also said. It really was a surprise. Anyone who experiences it can't help but tell the tale.
誰もシロのインプレッションを聞かせろとは言ってないわよ。問題は。
父坂、あれは初体験だったのか？
当然でしょう。あんなの考えたこともなかったわよ。ありえないわ。一体どこのどんな人種があんな紙一重なこと考えたっていうのよ。
I think she liked it.
侮れないわね、今の騎士も。あの発想力、そして実行力。神か悪魔か、あるいは。
Well, as an engineer myself, thank you very much. I appreciate the sentiment. She's getting carried away with that comparison. Tasaka seems completely astonished. Still, her residence doesn't look like it'd have a bidet, and with Tasaka being so hopeless with any kind of appliance, I'm actually rather worried about the mess she could have made. Oh my, don't say it like that. Are we gonna go over there? Is that where the first H scene comes in?
ちなみに、最初にどのボタンを押した？
何恥ずかしいことをしれっと聞いてるのよ。それも笑いながら。私が言いたいのは、そういうものを秘密にして人を笑い物にしようって態度が気に入らないと。
No, I honestly regret it, ma'am. I definitely didn't mean it that way, but in the end, yeah, that's how it ended up coming out.
とにかくあれは便利なものだから満喫するといい。和式の母屋には残念ながら使えなくてな。
誰がお手洗いで心ゆくまで満喫するのよ。あれ、離れのお手洗いだけ？
To enjoy themselves? I don't think the bidet is meant to... Do you not understand? I was just reading, like, do you not understand what the purpose for the bidet is? Do you think it's actually, like, for some sexual gratification thing, Tasaka? Like, to get water up your butt? Because I would get that some people would probably enjoy, you know, pressurized water up their butt. In a sense. But that's a weird thing to say based on what we discussed if you're not meaning that. I nod. I've seen a Japanese-style bidet on TV, but unfortunately they stopped manufacturing those due to a variety of reasons.
そうなると、他に誰が使ったの？
さくらとライダー。ライダーは驚かなくて面白くなかった。
See, okay, here's the thing. Who is it that goes to the washroom to enjoy themselves? I'm focused on this because it's important. Okay. Implies that you go to the washroom to enjoy yourself. But they were talking about before how Shiro was, like, not telling people and then seeing what their reactions were, you know, for the fun of it and stuff like that. It seems like it should be part of that conversation, but it doesn't actually work logically with how it's written. So either that's a translation thing or she means something slightly different, and I'm just... I feel like it's a weird translation thing.
誰がお手洗いで心ゆくまで満喫するのよ。
Shame I don't understand Japanese in the slightest. Except for like a term here or there.
藤根はもう前に使ったことがあったって。
Oh, she loves it.
そっか。
What? I can tell she's plotting something devious right now. And so the victim will be definitely be the only girl who hasn't used it yet. Tragedy invites further tragedy, and I have to break this chain of sorrow.
セイバーか。いいわね。楽しめそう。
やっぱり。遠坂待て、早まるな。
私は何も。だってエミヤくんだってこんなにお楽しみだったのに、私もご商売に預かれないなんてちょっと悔しいかなって。それに私はセイバーにあのボタンを押してみなさいと。
In the end, it's a path smeared with blood. Tasaka skips away before I have a chance to stop her. I went back to tinkering with the VCR when a few minutes later... That still sounded like Tasaka. Now that's not something you hear every day. Wait, was that really Saber? Saber screamed. Sensing the approach of another storm, I had no choice but to brace myself for the coming typhoon. Was that that feels like that doesn't sound like her at all. It's like the voice actor does a voice for Saber or something, or the voice actress is like a voice for Saber or something, but when they have to go yell, they can't do it, so it doesn't actually sound like her anymore. That's my, I guess impression. Sure. Hey, assassin. At the top of the long flight of stone steps stands the Rito Temple gate. The gate guard here is rather stubborn and difficult to deal with. Instead something like lion dogs or Neo statues.
今日はいるな。
The figure of Sasaki Kojiro, assassin, comes into view, having never gone into town. He's literally disappeared within the temple gate. An opposing character like that, in broad daylight with the temple visitors around, would be rather odd. Fortunately, no one but Esper should be able to see him. Or so you think. Out for a casual stroll, I ended up coming all the way here. I wonder why. Despite having the day off, I bet Issei still went to school. Even if I go out of the way to offer him a cheerful greeting, the chances of being able to get a conversation going with Kojiro are slim. Kojiro himself only glances towards me. Finding no ill intent, he shifts his gaze elsewhere. But you know, after standing guard all day long, you can't help but be bored. And day after day after day after day. It's been like half a year since this started, right, technically? What reality resulted in him being able to stick around for another 6 months? That seems like it would take a lot at the very least. A job where you don't do anything. Even if that's an exaggeration, I can't fathom how tiresome that must be. I do feel sorry for him.
今度差し入れでも持ってくるか。
Right, didn't he ask for Saber to be a thing like for next time? Saber and Ryder? Because he wants to fight? He doesn't look like the kind of guy that dislikes drinking. Should I take some from the main temple building? Suddenly Kojiro stands up. Behind me, I hear somebody going up the stone steps. Out of breath, they make frequent stops along the way. Wondering who that might be, I hide behind the gate and take a peek. Kojiro aside, there's no need for me to hide. I've just followed along. I was like, it couldn't be like Tosaga, could it? Just because, like, I'm pretty sure I remember this being available before she showed up again. As she's having a rest just a few steps before the top, I see a familiar face. Saikusa? Is she alone? Once recovered, she slowly conquers the last bin. The guard in question, Kojiro, gazes at Saikusa silently. Her epic ascent is finally over, and she looks at him uneasily, not noticing me yet. But she sees Kojiro. And I do recall hearing about this somewhere. Does she see that he's transparent? She speaks up, a hint of fear in her voice. Well, I can't blame her. Not when this anachronism of a swordsman stands in front of her. Not a single TV crew or signboard in sight.
すいません。お寺の方ですか?
さよう。
And suddenly he becomes untransparent right in front of her.
こんなこと聞いては失礼かもしれないんですけど、お祭りでもあるんですか?
A very Saikusa-like straight pitch. She must be inquiring about Kojiro's antique-looking clothing.
祭りか。この寺にも来歴があるようだな。キャスターはそう言ってはいたが、いつのことかは会いに行くとな。
What kind of history, I wonder, Saikusa ponders, tilting her head to the side. That was actually a pretty good answer, all things considered, considering he sort of implied some stuff without saying anything. Actually, like, he implied stuff while, when you know the context, other stuff is meant.
はあ、キャスターさんって久月先生の奥様ですよね。
It's still so weird that they use their servant class names. Like, whatever, but still.
そういうことになっている。困ったものだ。
She seems a little off-put by his blunt manner of speech. Perhaps it's about time to interrupt them. Just as I'm about to make an appearance, Saikusa's unexpectedly persistent stance stops me in my tracks. The way things are now, and this is not a good time to come out.
キャスターさんと久月先生、お似合いだと思うのですけど、お名前は?
津田小次郎と。
じゃあ小次郎さん、お似合いだと思いませんか?
Sushida? Oh, stop making up weird names. Did he think that she might get suspicious if he called himself Sasaki Kojiro while wearing that outfit?
君の名前は?
Yeah, I mean, she might. Does she read much? I don't think I know that much about her. But if you don't know that about a person, you shouldn't assume that they don't.
最後さんユキカと言います。
ではユキカ殿、私は彼女が旦那に構ってもらえずに焼いているのを見るのが数少ない娯楽だったのだよ。昨今はその意味ではいささか面白くない。
You are a wicked man, Kojiro. However, I can sympathize. Being perpetually assigned to guard duty while Gaster strolls freely around town would put anyone in a foul mood.
そうなんですか。
なに、これはかぶいた私の好みだ。君のようなあどけない娘から祝福されると知れば、彼女も喜ぶだろう。
Muttering thus, he sits down on the stone steps.
あどけないですか?
She really is, though. Although she wouldn't notice it herself. But despite her nervousness, she still sits down beside him.
小次郎さん、やっぱり私の見間違いじゃないですよね。
While saying that, Zaikusa runs her hand all over Kojiro's costume. While his face may remain stone still, he's definitely troubled.
マキちゃんやカネちゃんはお寺の山門にお侍さんなんかいないって言うんです。でもやっぱり本当にいたんですね。
I feel like we've discussed this before, and this sounds very familiar.
彼女たちが来た時は時が悪かったのだ。
Another, so I mentioned it before how I actually really like the pacing of this because it can spend as much time as it needs to without drawing things out beyond where they need to be, and then you can move on to something else. That has its downfalls as well, but I think one of the downfalls is that everything's so sporadic. Unless you're really trying to remember stuff, random little mentions will just disappear into your memory, and you might like, that sounds familiar? Unless it's like the main story, like really important stuff. And it's because of the nature of the variety of stories, everything's a lot more disjointed and disconnected, so it's harder to remember secondary stuff. They probably just came at the wrong time, he mutters in bewilderment, staying beside her. Befriended by a cute little puppy, even Gojiro finds it hard to be unkind.
本当ですか? いつもお堂の中に?
Cute little puppy would definitely be an accurate description of my impression of her.
いや、山門の上にな。あの上で参詣の客に不心得者が紛れていないかを伺う門番役だ、私は。
He isn't exactly lying, but he isn't quite telling the truth either. Of course, he'd be reluctant to talk about servants and so forth in the first place.
あ、それだからお侍さんみたいな格好をしてるんですか? 私、秋のお祭りの出し物の稽古をしてるのかなって思ってたんです。
Can't we get him casual clothes or something? He doesn't need to be wearing samurai uniform, yeah? I see. While Gojiro sits there dumbfounded, Zaikusa's face is sparkling with an innocent smile.
すごいです、小次郎さん。本当にお侍さんみたいです。その後ろの長い刀って本物ですか?
5尺余りの備中青江だ。
Hearing that it's a real sword, Zaikusa leaps back. No wonder, when you think about it, seeing a man armed with a real sword right in front of you is a bit of a shock. Even my thick-headed self would be perturbed in that situation.
怯えるな。手向かわぬ女子供は切りはせぬ。
でも、警察とか大丈夫なんですか?
Would you attack defenseless men, though?
自社はもとより守護不入の地だ。心配はない。
No, they don't. What century is that from? Gathering her resolve once again, Zaikusa, now having had her mind and of just like the normal common sense nature of the world corrupted by someone from a fictional world, timidly goes back to sitting by his side. The flow of the conversation is interrupted and silence sets in. Yet there's definitely a friendly air between the two of them. Yeah, I think she just really likes him. As I watch from behind the gate, I suddenly feel rather embarrassed by my voyeurism.
小次郎さん、その
何かな。
もしよければ、その
Listening to this makes me nervous. I mean, Zaikusa is talking to a guy out of her own will. Wait, is that weird? Just what is that Atraxia to Kojiro? Is it his slightly greater than average audacity? Had Makidara been here, there'd be more than a little violent uproar, no doubt.
今度、マキちゃんとカネちゃんに会ってもらえないかなって思うんですけども。そ
の二人は君の友人か。ああ、 彼とやら彼女の方は見覚えがあるな。
Actually, yeah, didn't we have an event with her? Okay, now I think I'm remembering it. The pieces are coming together. Didn't we have an event with her in the same area where she's looking for the samurai?
本当ですか？カネちゃんと小次郎さんってもうお知り合いなんですか？
こちらが一方的に見知っているだけだ。その時は上にいたものでね。しかしさてどうしたものか。 私のような世捨て人と面会したところで
He lets out a light sigh. His dramatic attitude looks like nothing more than an attempt to relieve some boredom at the expense of Sayusa's naivete.
ごめんなさい。私そんなつもりじゃなくて。そうですね。
She seems dejected. It would take someone like Makidera Tosaga to extract a promise as overbearing as that.
ユキカ殿。
それでしたら今度私の弟たちに会っていただけませんか？
Interesting. What makes you capable of seeing him, I wonder? Was he in... Because he was like in... Was he in spirit form? I guess I don't remember exactly what the nature of his invisibility was. I thought it was that he was in spirit form, but there might be something different, or like a special ability he might have.
それはなぜかな。
きっと弟たちも本当にお侍さんがいるんだ、すごいなーって驚いてくれると思うんです。だからその約束してくれたら
Having said that much, she stays silent. Not that it makes it any less forceful. Hearing it promise the word causing her anxiety, a faint smile appeared on Kojiro's face. There is no way Sayusa would know the weight behind the promise that binds his body here.
ユキカ殿には弟子がおられるのか。
はい、私が一番上のお姉さんなんです。
そうか。姉上に似て兄弟思いの優しい弟子なのであろう。
Right, one of those kids that Saber was playing with was one of her brothers, right? The praise causes Sayusa's cheeks to light up bright red in an instant. She's flustered once again.
そんなことないです。みんなやんちゃで言うこと聞かなくって、食いしん坊で私を困らせてばっかりで、いざ連れてきても小次郎さんに変なこと言っちゃったりしないかって不安で、私すいません、
Oh boy.
ユキカ殿が慌てることはない。時には昔日を思い出すのも悪くはないと思うてな。
Nodding like that, Kojiro is getting dramatic again. Twisted as he is, he can still weave a glamorous quote. Or did he actually mean it? If that's the case, I have greatly underestimated Sayusa's skill.
本当ですか？
気が向けば顔程度は見せよう。とはいえ、夜の訪問は物騒だ。日中であればいつかの機会に。
じゃあまた日を改めて弟たちと一緒に来ますから。すいません、こんなことをお願いして。
She bows deeply. In the end, despite wanting to leave, well, I guess it's alright. So I really did end up just watching them. Kojiro knew it, but it's rather rude for me to be picking on Sayusa. As quietly as possible, I take my leave.
さて、境内をちょっと見ていくか。
For absolutely no reason. Except burning some time, eh? Oh, it's not going to take very long to go through one more of these walks, so... Yeah, why not? Let's do that to finish out it. Ghost home is an option. Interesting. It's not too late. Should I go back? There's no point in coming here. I never knew about a Western house like this in the first place. You know, I didn't actually think about where I was coming. I've absolutely nothing to do with it. It's just a story I thought I'd heard somewhere. It feels as if I'm dreaming about a movie I saw before going to bed. Of course, the original film had been rewritten as I saw fit and remade in a contemporary style rather than simply revived. Yeah, what is up with these, like, producers and trying to westernize, Saber into this Avenger guy? That would be interesting. And yet, if there is one scene that hasn't changed one bit from the original, those two people in a western house at night. I'm not trying to go back inside the film, inside the dream. Feeling chill, I start running. I've already gone this far, I can't turn back. I need to make sure. Whatever there is, whatever waits me, is the source of this uneasy feeling that covers all of the town. I enter a large room on the second floor. I see a scene I had seen so many times before. There is. Naturally, nobody here. There's no woman sleeping on the sofa. No rotted man sitting in a chair. Well, of course. Because during daytime, the conclusion is that it's nothing more than a deserted old house.
なんだ、結局。
Those two don't even exist. But the house does, doesn't? The story is nothing but a dream, a mere fairy tale.
戻ろう。少し遠出しすぎた。
So maybe it did exist, I just never knew about it, and I'm only learning about it from Bazette and Avengers stuff. I leave the haunted house behind, just in case I look up at the window on the second floor, nothing abnormal. Why would I do this? Still puzzled, I started walking down the hill. Okay. On to the 4th day, once more. Which we'll do next time on Dragon Bar Fate Aloe Ataraxia. Oh, fuck, I did the thing wrong again. Okay, well. Yeah. Interesting. So the big question now, at least from Bazette's end, and this is, I guess, more last episode technically, is why are they going through 4 days of all things? What's happening at the end of the 4 days that causes everyone to reset whether they die or not? And I assume that's the same with Emiya. Like the stuff at Ilia's mansion, or castle. Like, I was not in a position I should have died there unless the entire place got overwhelmed somehow. Which I had assumed at the time, but that's not necessary. That's not necessary for it to have restarted if we're restarting every 4 days regardless. So, I imagine it has something to do with that white-haired girl. I almost wonder in Bazette's story if she'll, when she goes through the Einsburn stuff, that she'll show up in Adelia, so. Okay, well, that's where I'm going to leave it for today. I'll see you all next time. Drive safely, everyone.